It's all going to zero against Bitcoin.
It's going up forever.
You're against Bitcoin, you're against freedom.
Yo, welcome to Simply Bitcoin Live, your number one source for the peaceful Bitcoin revolution, breaking news, culture, manic warfare. We will be your guide through the separation of money and state. Today, speaking about the separation of money and state, today's one of those days. Samson Mow keeps doing what he's doing. I think it was like this year actually. He left Blockstream. Shout out to Adam Back and Co. And he took it upon himself to make it his life mission to push forward the nation state adoption of Bitcoin. And just breaking news, I think it was the video came out, I think this morning or early last night or late last night, of which he's with the Colombian president, and the Colombian president names Bitcoin, which is very, very interesting. That whole region, I'm just so bullish on the global South, because unlike here in the West, where we adopt Bitcoin for speculative reasons or maybe ideological reasons, I think in the global South, where people don't have the financial privilege of having a stable fiat currency, people adopt alternatives out of necessity. Now, to be fair, you're seeing a tremendous amount of stable coin adoption, not quite Bitcoin adoption, but I think that's a momentary measure, so to speak. So anyways, very, very bullish about today's episode. We're going to break it down. We're going to talk about all that. And today we actually have a very, very special guest. We have Nolan, who is the host of the Breakup YouTube show. Highly recommend it. And he's also programming Bitcoin 2024 in Nashville, Tennessee. I'm going to bring up Nolan and my legendary co-host, the one, the only, always optimistic, Optimus Fields. How you doing, Nolan?
I love life. I'm equally optimistic, maybe more optimistic than optimistic.
Are you guys going to have an optimistic battle, like face-off?
Well, I can feel I'm going to win.
Nolan's going to win. Nolan's going to win. Because we're going to have a great Nolan monologue on today's show. We got a sneak peek at this, guys, and we just saw the opening, and I already know this is going to be a great show.
Yeah, it's going to be such a great show that we've decided that we're going to switch up the news segment and the culture segment. We're going to have the culture segment first so we can give Nolan the stage, and he could talk about a Bitcoiner's guide to NPC management. So I'm looking forward to that and his work. It's going to be a great show. No more delay, guys. Let's rip off the Band-Aid. Let's jump straight into the show. Let's get to the numbers.
The Bitcoin numbers.
Is your Bitcoin in cold storage really secure? Is your seed phrase really secure? Stamp Seed's do-it-yourself kit has everything you need to hammer your seed words into commercial-grade titanium plates instead of just writing them on paper. Don't store your generational wealth on paper. Paper is prone to water damage, fire damage. You want to put your generational wealth on one of the strongest metals on planet Earth, titanium. Your words are actually stamped into this metal plate with this hammer and these letter stamps. And once your words are in, they aren't going anywhere. No risk of the plate breaking apart and pieces falling everywhere. Titanium stamped seeds will survive nearly triple the heat produced by a house fire. They're also crush-proof, waterproof, non-corrosive, and time-proof. All things that paper is not, allowing you to hodl your Bitcoin with peace of mind for the long haul. Stamp your seed on Stamp Seed. All right, guys, I made it super easy for you guys. You can scan the QR code on the right-hand side of your screen. It'll take you directly to Stamp Seed website, where you can use promo code SIMPLY to get yourself a Stamp Seed storage kit. You don't want to store your generational wealth on paper. Store it on titanium, bro. One of the strongest metals on planet Earth. At the time of recording, the Bitcoin price is 38,740 sats per dollar, 2,581. Block height, 819,304. Blocks to halving, 20,696. Halving estimate April 19th, 2024. Total Lightning Network capacity, 5,060. Bitcoin capacity value, 196 million US dollars. Realized monetary inflation, 1.75%. The market capitalization of Bitcoin, $757 billion of the B. Bitcoin versus gold market cap, 5.54%. In the grand scheme of things, Bitcoin is still a tiny little baby. Once Bitcoin reaches the market cap of gold, that would put the price of Bitcoin at $590,000 per coin. Anyways, I do want to talk about this because this was kind of I've never seen this before. This was kind of huge. But let's start off with what exactly happened. So 83 Bitcoin transaction fee sets a new record in fiat terms. This happened November 23rd, 2023, but a lot of things have happened since then. But essentially what happened is an unknown entity set a new Bitcoin transaction fee record in fiat terms today, effectively paying over $3.1 million for a single Bitcoin transaction. The transaction mined in block 818,087 moved over 139 Bitcoin and paid a 83.7 Bitcoin in fees, resulting in 55.77 Bitcoin transferred. So they paid more in fees than they paid in actually transferring the Bitcoin. The transaction was mined by a KYC only mining pool, Ant Pool. After broadcasting the transaction, the user used RBF to increase the fee even further. The transaction was seen in the open mempool first, so anyone could have mined it, said Mononaut. Quote, they somehow failed to add a change output to send the remaining 83 Bitcoin back to themselves. Now, here's the thing though. Apparently, there's more to the story. This came out 7 days later. The 83 Bitcoin fee transaction was a cold wallet hack. It goes on to say it was the person that posted this on Twitter said it was my Bitcoin. It was my Bitcoin that paid the high fee. I created a new cold wallet, transferred 139 Bitcoin to it, and it got transferred out to another wallet immediately. Quote, I can only imagine that someone was running a script on that wallet and that script had a weird fee calculation. The user also provided a signed message to confirm that they are the owner of the hacked wallet. And there's no way you can fake this, by the way. Since the wallet is compromised, this message could have been signed by either the victim or attacker. That's true. If Ant Pool officials return the fee, they'll need another way to verify the victim's identity. And news that came out, I think it was yesterday as well, Ant Pool has agreed to refund the 83 Bitcoin transaction fee, which is roughly $3 million, accidentally paid last week. So I have a lot of questions here. I'm going to start off with Nolan first. How is Ant Pool going to verify who is the actual owner of that coin, right? Because it could have been the hacker that just went to Twitter and said, this was mine.
It was me. They gotta get to me. Yeah, I mean, this stuff is, I think you're going to hear a lot more stuff like this, right? Whenever Bitcoin really starts to imprint itself on the public imagination and the consciousness as it is about to again, right? We were all boring. We were boring old tech last year. We were dying, right? Now there's people running these kinds of scams to get Bitcoin. So, bullish.
This is bullish. I mean, dude, I might Opti. You gotta change your name, bro. You're no longer Optimus Fields. We got Optimus.
Fields.
We got Optimus Nolan right here. He's coming for your title, my friend.
Hey,
anyways,
man.
I'm optimistic about the entire future of humanity, guys. The entire future of humanity.
See, this is why the name is what it is, because this is what it's about. It's once you get on the Bitcoin standard, you just start to view the world differently. Instead of being on number go down in every aspect on the fiat standard, it's number go up in every aspect on the Bitcoin standard. Like, this is what it's all about. But yeah, man, I missed that last part, Nico. We covered the story. What was it, a couple days ago? Or we kind of slightly mentioned it. I saw that Ant Pool post, but I missed the whole like it was a hack thing, and that's just crazy. Just wrecked and ripped to the guy that got hacked. But man, what a crazy story. I did not catch that middle part.
Yeah,
nor did I. I thought it was just this thing about the fees. I didn't know I missed that there was this whole new aspect to it.
Yeah, it's like a developing story. Like it's we have like chisme, which means like drama in Spanish, which is like this is the drama in Bitcoin land, bro. So, someone lost $3 million worth of Bitcoin in a transaction. Then it comes out, no, it was my Bitcoin. I signed it. Ant Pool's like, no, we're gonna give it back. But then it's like in the movies where like they find the dog. And like the only way for like them to identify, the authorities to identify who's the owner of the dog, is for both parties to stand across the room from each other and be like, come to me. Like, what are they
thought
gonna
that
do?
was only for bad breakups, Nico. You know, like, which one do you love more, dog? Come to me.
Like, what are they gonna do? How are they gonna decide? Is it gonna be a coin flip?
Maybe
some probabilistic thing. Get the old Satoshi dice rolling up again.
maybe Antpool didn't catch the fact that it was like a hacked wallet. Maybe they just thought like, oh, hey, this was, you know, someone messed up, and now they're realizing like, oh wait, that account got hacked, or that wallet got hacked, and we probably didn't, you know, report on the best way to verify who owns this Bitcoin. So I don't know. I guess it's a developing story, and we got some gossip for the next week or so.
So this is the requirements from Antpool, and I quote: "Dear users, on November 23rd, some users submitted 83 Bitcoin as a gas fee. The risk control system of Antpool temporarily, you know, tooting their own horn, temporarily froze the fee when packaging the transaction. Please contact us before December 10, 2023 and verify personal identity in the following way. After the verification, Antpool will refund the fee. The verification steps are as follow. Prepare a signing tool, Electrum or Bitcoin Core. Use the private key of the address listed to sign the message Antpool using the above signing tool. Then send the signed text to the email support@antpool.com. Nolan,
So the hacker's receiving the Bitcoin.
I got some obstacles.
Nolan, here's your chance. That you got the steps laid out ahead of you. Are you gonna send that email first? What if they get both? What if they get two emails? Is it like first come first serve?
I mean, I don't understand why they can't use some of these wallet signings to verify. Shouldn't they be able to?
Yeah, but the problem is that apparently the hacker would have access to the private key, and they would
Oh,
be
of course.
able to.
Yeah. What am I talking about? Yeah, of course. I'll just go around in circles with this.
Well,
Yeah.
you know, Craig Wright could always forge a signed seed phrase, and
Craig Wright is gonna get it. Craig Wright. I love how everyone he's ever met is a forger, right? Everybody. Like everyone in my life is a forger, you know? Jeez. What a tough break for that guy. Tough.
Oh man. Yeah. I mean, he did bring it upon himself though. Like if we're being fair.
He deserves worse than he's gotten. So there you go. But although when I look at Joe Biden, and I think it always makes me think of Craig Wright, because it's like, you know, you wish for these things, right? I wish people would acknowledge me as Satoshi, and then it turns out everyone's a forger and everyone knows you're a liar, and then you become known as the biggest liar ever, maybe in history. He might actually go down as one of the great liars of all time. Now, Joe Biden goes out and gets what he wants too, but he can't walk or talk. So it's like you know, it's one of these things. You ask for and you shall receive. And one guy asked to be Satoshi Nakamoto. Like, of all the people, I want to be Satoshi Nakamoto. I want to be the president of the United States, the leader of the free world. You got it. Here you go. Let's do it.
Dude. Oh my God. Yeah.
this is going to be a great episode.
This is total clown world. Anyways, guys.
They're the same person.
Corporate wants to point out the difference.
Oh man. All right. We found out a lot. So Nolan is the owner of the 83 Bitcoin. So Nolan's going to claim it. Let's see if he beats the hacker in the process. And Joe Biden and Craig Wright are the same person. It has been confirmed. Before we move on to the culture segment, I do want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Bitcoin 2024. It's going to be the largest Bitcoin conference in the world, July 25th through the 27th, 2024. It's going to be in Nashville, Tennessee. You want to get your tickets quickly before the prices go up? You can get yourself a GA ticket for $349. You can get yourself an industry pass for $849. That gives you access to 3 days of the conference. If you're trying to get a job in the industry, I highly recommend that. And you can get yourself a whale pass for $4,749. That gives you exclusive access to the deep backstage VIP lounge. I got to meet Tulsi Gabbard backstage. It was absolutely badass at Bitcoin 2023. Guys, you definitely don't want to miss Bitcoin 2024 in Nashville, Tennessee. Opti and I are going to be there. You can use promo code.
Wait, Nico, before you go on and putting Nolan on the spot, he is the programmer for this conference. So I don't want to say sneak peeks.
Let's make him full screen.
But how is this conference shaping up? You know, I'm sure you're in the early works of this, or rather maybe the midterm works of this. And, you know, the last couple of conferences have been absolutely epic. So I'm guessing Nashville Takeover is going to be awesome.
Yeah, we announced the Giga Chad himself this morning, which everyone can anticipate he was going to be announced. And since he bought so many Bitcoin yesterday, it was a perfect fit. So Michael Saylor obviously in. He's one of our first announced speakers. But more importantly, here's one of the cool things about the show. So you notice the date, July 25th, 27th. Why that day? A little different than you've seen before. What's going on? Well, 2024, in my estimation, is going to be the greatest year ever for Bitcoin. And that's because we're going to be at the center of attention for almost every thread of thought going on in the world, in America in particular. It's an election year. Satoshi, in all of his wiseness, put the halvings next to US presidential elections. So the engine seems to get primed every time we come around to one of these things. And what we're going to see with our show in July is that it's going to be put right between the unholy meetings of either political party of the United States. So the Republican convention will be the week before, the Democrat convention will be the week after. So all of this fake prison of two ideas that we see from red and blue will have its true contrast with our show, not the contrast and the fake contrast they provide each other, but the contrast with what Bitcoin offers. So the full realignment of red and blue to orange and green is going to be realized at our show, and the world will seem that much clearer then.
Oh my God.
Love it.
Either you watch Simply Bitcoin or we're just in sync in terms of thought, because this is what I always say. It's not red versus blue, it's green versus orange. So, oh my God, this makes me even more hyped. Guys, you don't want to miss this epic conference. Use promo code SIMPLY to get a discount on your tickets. You want to get them quickly because the prices do go up as time goes by. All right, everybody, no more delay. Let's jump into the culture to talk about what Nolan's working on, which I'm really excited on. Let's check it out.
The Daily Culture.
Brought to you by SwanBitcoin.com. Swan is the best way to build your Bitcoin stack with automated Bitcoin savings plans and instant purchases, serving clients of any size from $10 to $10 million. We love Swan because they incentivize self-custody and dollar cost averaging. What are you waiting for? Visit SwanBitcoin.com today.
All right, this is gonna be awesome, guys. So you know what we do here on the culture, it is featuring our guests, and today we got an epic guest, Nolan. He does a morning show called The Breakup Guys, and he is a professional monologuer. Okay, I was gonna say monologus, but monologuer. Okay, and I was just gonna tee him up with a simple question and let him rip, which was, what is your point of view on the state of the world right now? And he's got this epic, it looks like a PDF or PowerPoint here. So Nolan, the floor is yours.
It's a book.
It's a book. Okay.
It's a book.
We wrote a book and something amazing happened last week. So we just published it last week. It was really to help people with the holidays, right? Because we all know we're going into the holidays last week. We're still in the holiday season. We're going to have Christmas coming up, and it's time for us to face the truth. Right, most of the people we love in our lives are NPCs. Right, they're non-playable characters, and it sucks. Right, you just got to admit it though. And we love them. Right, we love them. So I wrote this book with respect to toxic maximalists, and what I mean by that is, of course, we can do the toxic maximalist approach and just say the hell with all of these NPC morons, but there is part of us that has to acknowledge the reality. We've got to live with them. Now, the problem is they're both dangerous because they'll kill you if they're hypnotized into doing it. And it limits your quality of life, right? Because you got to watch what you're saying and you got to think about how to deal with them. So I started thinking about all that stuff. And then I put it into a package that really is, I think, the greatest tool ever invented for orange pilling, ever, right? Because the truth is, our minds are not really logical. Like, we can try and argue 21 million Bitcoin and Bitcoin is better than fiat because this and that, and a socialist's case for Bitcoin and a libertarian's case for Bitcoin. But these are all just logical arguments. Unfortunately, we're up against something totally different, which is the dark magic of fiat, its ability to hypnotize, its ability to create NPCs. So I wrote this not as a book of arguments. I'll even show you one of the, I'll give you a bit of the summary here, right? So it really is just a way to navigate the complexities of life with loved ones who really are the victims of fiat information sources, right? That's what's made them usually semi-retarded in some ways and unable to, no, but it's true. It's true.
We got to get fucking Nolan on the show more often,
so,
bro. God damn.
So it's kind of a survival guide, but instead of arguments, what I used were counterspells. Counterspells to combat the fiat dark matter. So they're not logical. They might not make sense, but these are the best things you can do to deal with every particular NPC. Now, it gets even better because the truth is Bitcoin can become a kind of a Rosetta Stone, and it actually forms the basis of what I call a protocol of NPC management. And so the protocol begins like this, very simply, right? You can use Bitcoin first contact lore to identify an NPC. So immediately, if they have no Bitcoin story, automatic NPC, automatic, right? If they don't even know what you're talking about, you don't have to look too closely or whatever, right? But if they do have a Bitcoin story, here's the interesting thing that starts to happen, right? So let me show you, right, the essence of an NPC, right? So first of all, in the grand game of life, NPCs are those who wander paths laid before them unquestionably. They've accepted the world as it's been presented, a stage set by the directors of the fiat system, mistaking the set's props, wealth, status, security for the plot itself. Understand, dear peer, these characters aren't our adversaries. They're our charges, fellow players, yet to realize that they're part of the game. But here's how you can use it, right? So you can get some ideas of Janet Yellen performing her dark magic here, which is a really important part of it. It is a bit like an NPC zombie survival guide, right? But here's the important part, right? So here's a little bit of what we can do. So we can use Bitcoin, no Bitcoin story, automatic NPC, but their first contact lore, if you actually take a moment to listen to it, they'll let you know what type of NPC they are. You can actually analyze their first contact with Bitcoin to figure out what's going on. And once you know what kind you're dealing with, you can actually calibrate your counterspell to hopefully awaken them.
Wait, hold on. I have so many questions. First of all, you said what kind of NPC? Could you define what kinds there are?
Well, I got them all here. Yeah, I got the types. There's not that many in the end. The program is not that flexible. So I'll show you who they are. The way to categorize your NPC is by first contact lore. And then first contact lore will actually tell you what both their fears and wants are. And once you understand their fears and wants, you can combine those to give your archetype, right? What I call the archetypes of slumber, right? So the archetypes of slumber.
This is phenomenal. This is great work.
I love this. I'm
very impressed.
So here's what it is, right? You'll find that NPCs see a distorted mirror in Bitcoin, seeing in it reflections of their own fears, illegality, instability, complexity, or sheer anarchy, right? They'll dismiss it, ridicule it, fear it, or worse, they'll remain indifferent, right? So, but recognize these reflections for what they are. They're not the flaws of Bitcoin, but the flaws of the beholder, right? The mirror is your guide, for it reveals the state of their slumber and the nature of their dreams. And you can use this to sort of calibrate. So I'll tell you what they look like, right? We can start with the credentialists, right? They're, definitely afraid of what will happen when the rug is pulled on trusted third parties across the board. One of the most amazing things happened, though, this week, and this is the current events part. So I don't know if you guys saw this, but yesterday, Matt Taibbi, former Rolling Stone writer, and Michael Schellenberger both testified in Congress about mostly Missouri versus Joe Biden, which is the legal case of the federal government imposing censorship on third parties to do what the government can't do, right? So the government is not allowed to censor, but what they can do is create a third party, exactly what Satoshi warned us about, who will do the censoring, which is why we heard for years on Twitter, just make your own Twitter, right? Buy your own Twitter. It's a private company. We'll kick you off if we want. So that's why that went on for years. But it turns out these things were cutouts, and these things were deliberately created to do what they did. There was all kinds of messages in the early foundation of these institutions that were saying we can't have a repeat of 2016. Now, here's the fun part, right? So what we heard yesterday from Taibbi and Schellenberg are testifying about this, is that when they went out to actually hire these brainwashers, when they went out to actually staff these organizations like Media Matters and all these other ones that would go out and censor Americans, they ended up calling themselves Hogwarts School of Misinformation.
No
All right.
way.
Oh, yes, they
Wow.
did. Yeah. That's what we heard yesterday. They actually called themselves wizards. All right. So it's just a freak coincidence that I wrote a book about countering the spells that would generate NPCs through dark fiat magic. Now, remember, what fiat is declarations, is words, right? To say fiat means to use words. So the fiat network propagates through the manipulation of words. It's inherent, right? It's what the system is. It requires these third-party broadcasters of brainwashing in order to perpetuate the network. And so part of the perpetuation of this words is to literally enchant people, right? To literally make them spellbound, hypnotize them, and they knew it. So that's what's kind of funny. So in my story, what I never do is give you an argument. I'll show you in the first sort of opening explanation of what the book is, where I actually say that, right? So this book is written for Bitcoiners, right? It's about a toxic microdosing approach. So it's not maximalism, it's microdosing, right? Where you give a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Remember that it's nothing to do with arguing, right? There's no list of arguments here. I say it right here, right? This book is not a list of arguments. It's better to think of what's in here as spellcasting, counter spells. And you know, that's how I think you can do it, because we don't want to eat the bugs. We don't want our friends to eat the bugs. We don't want anyone eating the bugs, right? We got to do our best to help them. So we have a little bit of a resume of the protocol here, right? This is sort of the executive summary of how it works. But I'll take you right into the parts, right? So you got a credentialist here, right? So this is just identifying them through their fears and their wants, right? So this is how you can sort of categorize them. We've got that one. We've got the follower, right? So here you see this is the, you know, if your friend would jump off a bridge, right? These guys would, all right, unfortunately. And you can actually see where their reactions to Bitcoin first contact lower comes, right? Where the credentialist will say, you know, oh, governments are going to shut that down, right? Oh, they're never going to allow it, right? That's sort of a credentialist first reaction. The follower, right? It's where you're hearing these people say, well, you know, my friend lost some money and I could have been, I knew about Bitcoin early and I didn't. And then, you know, and then that my cousin got scammed, right? From somebody at crypto. So all of this stuff, right? So that's another part of it. We got the sports ballers, right? That's the person who in the same vein, right? It's too complicated. I don't do any of that investment stuff, right? Oh, what's going on? I don't do engineering. I'm not into computers and Wall Street, right? Oh, too complicated. We've got, of course, the Karen, right? We can't forget the Karen. Right? You can't forget the Karen, right? There are tales of chaos, dangers of the world unwatched, you know, that kind of thing. And then, of course, this one here is called the nihilist, right? Which is the kind of person who, you know, would rather be right, afraid of being wrong, and it's of course safer to take this kind of a bet, right? So from there, once you're able to actually understand what kind you're dealing with, each of them actually comes with their own counterspell, right? So that's where I get into on how to awaken them. So the story begins with identifying, then specifying, right? That's the real protocol. You use Bitcoin to identify on first contact, then you use Bitcoin and analyze their first contact with Bitcoin to find out what kind of NPC they are, what enchantments they're under, which fiat spells have actually penetrated into their brain and focused an illusion and created this you know, fake reality around them. So from there, you can awaken them, right? It is possible. And here's a little bit how that works, right? So these are the archetypes of slumber. So we now recognize the patterns and the archetypes of NPCs, and they're each a unique manifestation of fiat spell work. There's the credentialist, their faith placed in the crumbling temples of institutional trust, the follower who places solace in the chorus of the crowd, The sports baller for whom life as a loser is unacceptable. The Karen who seeks control, mistaking the puppet strings for power. The nihilist armored by skepticism denies themselves the magic of belief, right? Each of these NPCs requires a different key and a unique combination of words in your incantation to awaken them. So identifying them as the cornerstone upon which the magic of enlightenment is built. So you're really trying to use the magic of Bitcoin in order to start cultivating some sense of awareness amongst these unfortunately bewitched friends of ours and family, right? So here, each of them comes with its own method. So with the credentialist, what you start is with pity, right? You don't argue with stats, graphics, right? You don't start, did you read the study, right? No. They're too bewitched. None of that will work. They're not thinking logically. You're not going to convince them about Bitcoin by showing them the Fed balance sheet, all right? They're insane. They don't have an opinion. They have mental illness, right? It wouldn't matter. You couldn't show this to them. It wouldn't make a difference, right? You're not dealing with real opinions. You're dealing with people whose brains are absolutely broken. So one of the best things you can do with these credentialists, right? And I look, I come from that world. I'm a trained lawyer. When I found Bitcoin, I had an office with a fireplace and a secretary, right? Like all of that had to go. Right? You can't keep that. Like you can't live like that, right? Not out of suffering. You just can't go along with the fakeness of it, right? So here, I know these people, right? I dealt with a lot of credentialists in my life. The best thing you can do is actually pity them, right? And if the pity doesn't work, there's the dial you can turn up on the magic, which is to mock them. You have to laugh at their, you have to, right?
I love
no
this.
other way. Like you have to laugh at their opinions, right? You have to laugh at, you know, who they trust, really. You trust the news? You're in the news? The news? Okay, all right, okay. So you have to mock their trust, and that's the emotional alchemy that could work, right? To awaken these folks. So some of these counter spells have to be repeated, right? Especially when it comes to awakening. Identifying and specifying using Bitcoin, those you can do yourself, and that's easy. Electrifying and waking these people up, a little harder, but with persistence it works, right? Some easier than others, but that's how you should handle them. With followers, optimism is usually the best. I call it the Optimus Prime spell. The reason I call it Optimus Prime is because, and I'll go to explain what the Optimus Prime spell is, just because everyone here is optimistic and we got a lot of optimist names going along, right? So great greetings do persuade people, and that's one of the things that I use here, because consistency in this is it's a dimensional advantage that Bitcoiners have. Most fiat people, because they're gripped with fear, can't actually imagine the future. They're not capable, right? They can imagine. Usually, they have eschatological beliefs. You know, like the end of the world. So the global warming stuff. Oh, we're gonna burn. Oh my God, it's gonna be the worst. Oh, so because their minds are so paralyzed about fear with the future, they're incapable of imagining a future, and that's a huge advantage that Bitcoiners have. That's like conquistadors versus whatever was going on with the child sacrifice, people sacrifice thing way back when, right? We're dealing with generationally different weapons, let's say. So that's a huge advantage Bitcoiners have, because we have spent so much time imagining the future, and it's actually quite easy for us to imagine an optimistic and better future. So you're able to use that as a dimensional advantage, right? So Optimus Prime can be used in many instances to awaken NPCs, many instances. And in this case, the follower, it's particularly good with the follower, especially when you're able to key in Bitcoin community aspects, right? And that's where the actual waking can happen, right? So you can be a beacon of hope. You can be an embodiment of a joyous future that Bitcoin can offer. And that's something that a follower could respond to. It could awaken them, right? And especially within Bitcoin, you can talk about citadels. You can talk about, obviously, we're very energy literate. We're not worried about what Greta thinks, and because obviously it's very stupid to wonder and care about what some young autistic girl has to say about energy systems, right? Like it's not important, right? So, and I love the autists, right? We're all into the autists, but really, if it's about global energy, we're going to have to be okay with her not being okay with all the stuff that's going on. That we just have to get over, right? So, with sports ballers, of course, the have fun staying poor jinx. We all know that one. That's an easy one to pump out. We've all done that one many times, right? And that one hits the mark pretty well, especially against sports ballers. Like, you're not going to sit there and argue with a sports baller about Bitcoin's coming. Just, buddy, go for it. Right? You don't want to get into Bitcoin. Let me show you what losers do, right? And you can have fun being a loser, and that's cool, right? But don't whine to me later. So that usually will do it. Karen's Clown World Reflection is a very difficult one because really you should not spend any time with Karens no matter what, right? Like you should stay away. So this one's a bit at your own risk, right? It's a bit at your own risk. So, you have to be a little gentle here, right? It can work though, you can get them. And of course, with the nihilists, one of the easiest things you can do, it's not really an argument, but you can actually talk about the wonder of Bitcoin engineering. So these aren't so much arguments as they are being able to speak within the memetics of Bitcoin's network, right? And in general, the nihilist can be enchanted with, or at least the enchantments can break once you actually see the technical brilliance upon which Bitcoin is built. So that one can work pretty effectively there. Now, I have a very special chapter just on US politics, right? Because US politics, what you're dealing with, and as I said, right, what we heard yesterday in Congress was that they hired military-grade brainwashers who called themselves Hogwarts School of Misinformation and literally acknowledged their skills as black magic wizardry, all right? So just a coincidence that I wrote a book on this, absolutely, but that's what they think, right? So in this world, what you end up getting is this dualistic mirage, right? US politics thrives on the illusion of opposites, Democrats, Republicans, blue, red, liberal, conservative. The duality, while seemingly concrete, is but the most potent of enchantments. Democrats largely remain steadfast in their belief that news sources are harbingers of truth, their trust unshaken in the face of contradictions. Republicans, on the other hand, are cognizant of the trance that holds their counterparts, but unaware of the root of hypnosis, which is money, right? So I would say that you get, this is just the way I see it, right? The Democrats still think there's something like arguing about facts going on, like we just disagree on opinions, right? If there would just be some charismatic boomer who would come around, we would all agree the same, right? So that's the lowest form of awareness. Republicans are aware one group is being brainwashed, but they don't understand that everyone is getting brainwashed, right? So it's a little bit up, right? A little bit higher, right? A little bit higher, but still pumped full of anger and easily prompt engineered by the wizards. And that's indeed where you end up getting to the grandest deception, right? Debt as money, and exactly where the dark magic is sourced from and why it's so potent and why the hypnotic effects can actually have this kind of resonance, right? That the D in US dollar is dictates. It's literally words, right? Dictates are the numerator. They're the denominator. The denominator is dictates. And so it remains the greatest sorcery that's ever been cast, and transforming government issued debt into money is what allowed this to happen in the first place. There's a lot of people who say that Bitcoin is here to win World War III. I think the actual frame is that we're here to end World War I. It hasn't ended. We've been fighting World War I perpetually. And this is not a frame Americans were ever given. This is the type of military grade brainwashing that we were affected by our entire lives. And now I believe in America. I do, right? I love the United States of America. I absolutely love it. But we got to get rid of this money, right? Because having the money attached to the country and attached to everything is the source of all of our troubles. And so it is the reason why we are dealing with this weapons grade, with this type of battlefield, right? I think here I say in the labyrinth realm of consciousness and societal construct, no theater of operation is more convoluted, more rife with grand scale enchantments than the arena of US scale politics, right? The word fiat means dictate, to declare, to state with words. NPCs still live in a hypnotic state of words where the words are the state of the state are in fact money. The words of the state are money, right? With root key access to their subconscious minds. And that's what makes US politics the actual battlefield of the US dollar reality. And that's the fight we're really up against. And that's why we need magic, right? That's why it is literally a battle of wizards and spell casting. And that's what we're up against. So in the end, there is one thing you can do with politics, and I embrace and I implore, and I believe this is what we have to do in 2024. This is what you're going to see a lot of in Nashville. This is what I wrote the book for, what I think we can do in 2024 for America as Bitcoiners, what I think we can do for the world as Bitcoiners this year, which is this particular spell, which is a dangerous one. It's called Embrace and Amplify, right? And what that basically means is you've got to dive into the turbulent waters of political discord in America, and you've got to willingly grasp electrically charged binaries, and with both wisdom and wit, push them beyond their limits into the realm of the absurd. Right? It's almost like culture jamming, and what that ends up looking like is that Bitcoiners must embrace the following. Despite all of the rot we see in our society, despite all of the terrible things we see going on in America, everything looks like it's breaking in America, elsewhere in the world. It's a damn good thing our elections work perfect in all 50 states. In all 50. What a coincidence. Good thing it worked out for us. Now, one of the things that I always try to draw on with that is the following, that Bitcoin, in our understanding of the value proposition of Bitcoin, understand the engineering trade-offs within the network. And that is, we made choices between credibility and convenience, right? Bitcoin is not optimized for the convenience of transactions. It's shitty and slow, but we optimize for what? Credibility, much more than anything else. In fact, that's the most important thing. Confirmed transactions with the exact protocol being enacted the way it was meant to, so that we have credibility of the results that we see in Bitcoin more than its convenience, right? Ethereum opted for the same trade-offs and went convenience, right? Oh, a little slow, you gotta. So imagine that this trade-off between convenience and credibility also happens to apply to election systems. It's the same thing. It's literally the same thing, right? Because you don't get to have both. You don't get to be credible and convenient. You got to be one or the other. It's just the nature of the trade-offs. Bitcoiners chose one. The same trade-offs are available in our elections. Now, you don't need to ever find proof of elections in America being a scam. That would be stupid, right? Every claim you've ever heard about American elections in 2020 being scammed or whatever is not true. All 99.99999, you've never heard a real one. They're all fake, right? But you don't need proof. All you need to understand is the way the system works, and you have to understand the engineering trade-offs of Bitcoin. If you understand those two things, you'll realize we don't have elections. We've never had elections. It would be the same as claiming some terrible shitcoin with 0 nodes and no decentralization has transactions. Do they? Do they have actual transactions? Of course not, right? They have lies on a spreadsheet. So Bitcoiners understand these trade-offs, and the way we talk about elections in 2024 is going to be the only sensible sounding, reasonable sounding analysis of what's going on in politics, because all of this brainwashing is coming. So we have this tremendous role in 2024 to help everyone. And hopefully in so doing, we'll awaken a lot of NPCs and we'll be able to save the world and create a Bitcoin standard in the shortest amount of time possible. So
beautiful. I love that, dude. I love this guide. This is something either you watch Simply Bitcoin or we're just on the same tune or on the same thing. but you took it a step above. You took it a step beyond, because what we're saying is like, guys, don't get distracted with the divide and conquer strategy. It's not left versus right. It's orange versus green. But you went a step above. You went above and beyond, and you created a guide for the specific NPC, how to approach that specific NPC, excluding the Karens, of course, and how to really wake them up from the propaganda, because that's really what it is, essentially, is they've been propagandized. And
yes.
I think our hope really is, and look, Nolan, I'm sure you covered this, is a great example of this, right? The Wall Street Journal article that dropped, right?
It's exactly this.
The Wall Street Journal article dropped.
Exactly.
Right. Or yesterday, right? I had the privilege of being able to attend the Ocean event with Jack Dorsey, Luke Dash Jr., and all that stuff. And one of Jack's tweets, promoting the event or saying this event went great, was like, it mentioned the word pool in it. And then literally the day after, the BBC drops an article saying that Bitcoin is using more water than Olympic swimming pools. That is information narrative trench warfare. Because they're attacking.
That's terrible.
They're attacking the NPCs because if you're an NPC and you see pool and you see the BBC article before you see what a mining pool is, all of a sudden you have a negative association with the word pool and Bitcoin, right? So yes, 100%. This is what we're living through. But you hit the nail on the head. Nolan, where can people find this book? This guide?
You can go to nolanbyerly.com, and it's a PDF you can download. It'll be on my Twitter. It's pinned in a thread there as well. So go have a look at the Twitter thread. It's the last line where you can download it, I believe. I'm going to be recording an audio version of it in time for Christmas. And people should have it. It should be good to go. You should be able to use it to deal with your family, to not have any, stupid arguments with people and leave in a huff because they don't get Bitcoin, or they're not, they're not listening, or they're not hearing. Arguments aren't going to work on these people. You are actually dealing with brain damaged people who are in need of help. Right? That's what I'm trying to explain to you. They're in need of your help, not, oh, you're an idiot, you don't understand Bitcoin and this and that. They are. That is all true, but that won't help. So I wrote it to help people awaken these folks, and to help you protect yourself, because honestly, that's the other flip side of this, right? We know that if they're turned on, if they start saying, Bitcoin pools, Bitcoin using more energy than a pool, let's drown them all in a pool is next, right? So it won't take long to get there. And we don't want that, right? We got to make it through these things. And Bitcoiners are got to look out for each other, and we got to look out for ourselves. Right?
Hey Nolan, the chat is wondering when hardcover version.
Yeah, I want to get it out. I got to check the because I will sell it for Sats, the hardcover version. I got to figure out the time delays on Amazon. I've got it formatted and ready to go in the Amazon thing. So I will be doing it. I may, because here's what I want to do. I want to make a version that's printed on demand for Sats, which would be a reasonable amount of Sats, right? But I also want to sell one on Amazon for US trash tokens. And for US trash tokens, it has to be at least 100 trash tokens, because it's like going into imagine I put, there's no risk to you if you go into the prison to pick up a hard wallet, but you got to go in a prison. You know what I mean? Like, imagine I put a hard wallet in the middle of like General Pop, and you got to go walk in and take it, right? Okay, they're not going to arrest you. You're not going to jail. You can go pick up the Bitcoin and leave. But it's kind of like that with trash tokens now, right? Like, if I have to go into Amazon's infrastructure with like a bank and I'm going to take the money out. If there's only like a total of a few hundred trash tokens, I will never bother. But if I sell it per copy for 100 trash tokens, and people pay for it, then yeah, fiat premium. Yeah, then it's kind of worth it for me to go into the prison and grab the cash, right? So it'll be something like that, right? I'm just trying to figure out how to get it for the reason. Yeah, you're not getting my Sats, XX says. Yeah, so some people don't exactly. So we'll do the Sats for the hard copy. It'll be reasonable, and then there'll be a fiat version for trash tokens, and it would print it, and it'll be beautiful. It'll still be beautiful. All right, we're gonna get a beautiful copy.
I love that. I love that. Well, Nolan, it's been an honor to have you on the show. Totally optional, but you could stay on the show for the rest of the show, or you can bow out here. It's totally up to you.
But before you go, Nolan, I absolutely love the storytelling aspect of this, and I constantly say something similar. And now I have a framework for this, so I'm definitely guys download it now.
I'm gonna download it. I put it in the video description, guys, so you can check it out.
It is Bitcoin again. You know, it shouldn't surprise us, is the actual key to dealing with NPCs of all things. And at the end, if you're going to enjoy it, there is a bit of advice for all of us Bitcoiners in there, because indeed we are also NPCs. There is a special type that you didn't see there that is the Bitcoiner NPC. It's a real thing. We all prone to this stuff. And I heard someone mention about time preference. That's what it comes down to, right? Time preference is a big part of this. So thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. And I hope you like the Bitcoiner's Guide to NPC Management, perhaps the greatest orange pilling book ever written.
Beautiful.
Ever.
Let's go. Hold on.
You can orange pill everyone.
I think Nolan deserves some horns for this one.
Absolutely. Nolan, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us on Simply Bitcoin Live. Peace out. All right, guys, before we get to the news, I do want to give a special shout out to our sponsor, Rex. They are the most trusted place to buy, sell, and host mining equipment. If you scan the QR code on the right-hand side of your screen, it will take you directly to their Telegram marketplace, or you can connect with a member of their sales team. They make purchasing their products easy and transparent. What about selling mining equipment? Well, they got your back as well. You can access their vast network of domestic and international customers when you sell your mining equipment with them. What are you waiting for? Check out the Kaboom Racks marketplace today. You could check out the link in the video description, or I made it easy for you guys. You could scan the QR code on your screen. Kaboom Racks. All right, everybody, let's hit the news. Let's do it.
The Daily News.
I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Foundation Devices. It's self-custody done right. They built a premium grade hardware wallet called Passport right here in the US. It's fully open source and verifiable. It's the most intuitive Bitcoin wallet designed with a UX reminiscent of a simple feature phone. So you will know how to navigate it and use it the moment you pick it up. Get your Bitcoin off exchanges and into your own hands in just a few minutes. Experience the peace of mind that comes with taking ownership of your own keys. After a massive sellout during Bitcoin Miami 2023, the Passport is back in stock at foundationdevices.com. Bitcoin only, open source verifiable, completely air gap security model, gorgeous design craft, premium grade materials. If you're thinking about getting your Bitcoin off exchanges, this is the one for you. Check out the Passport link in the show notes below to learn more. All right, everybody. So let's talk about today's news. So this is Samson Mow. I'm a big fan of Samson, by the way. And he's dedicating his precious time, which is the only thing more valuable to us human beings than Satoshis, is your time. And he's dedicating his precious time to working on nation state Bitcoin adoption. And Mao's doing an incredible job at doing this. So shout out to him. And let's take a look at what happened recently. We actually posted this video on Simply Bitcoin's Twitter account, which, by the way, guys, if you haven't, for whatever reason, if you're not following it, if you want the best place for Bitcoin news dropping while it's hot, check out Simply Bitcoin's Twitter. Our team does a great job at keeping you guys in the know. Shout out to Ani, Jax, and our boy Rustin, of course, for building out the Twitter machine, and of course Opti here and there, and I drop in here and there sometimes as well. But yeah, so check out this video of him with the president of Colombia. For anyone who doesn't know what the president of Colombia looks like, this is him on the right-hand side of Samson, and I think he might be speaking in Spanish, but I'll translate it if that's the case.
Bueno, aquí estoy rodeado de estos amigos gurús.
So here I am surrounded by these guru friends.
Del blockchain.
He did say blockchain, which kind of sucks.
parte de las criptomonedas Bitcoin, por
On one hand, there's Bitcoin. On the other hand, there's cryptocurrencies.
otra, están reunidos aquí en Bogotá y son expertos en todo.
We're here gathered in Bogota, which is a capital of Colombia, for anyone who doesn't know, and they are experts in these topics.
En estos temas. Vamos a abrir unos campos de trabajo.
We're going to be doing some work on working groups in public administration
La administración pública y en las comunidades populares.
and in
las
grassroots
cooperativas de trabajo asociado.
and
de
associated with work cooperatives of the popular economy
para potenciarlas a través de estas nuevas
to enhance them with these new technologies
tecnologías que indudablemente ya se abrieron paso en el mundo y tendrán
that have already made their way into the world
desarrollos hacia el futuro
and will have developments in
pueden
the
ser
future
prometedores para
that can be promising for the prosperity of the
la
people.
prosperidad de los pueblos.
Gracias.
Presidente.
Okay, so very political response. You know, this is not like saying Nayib Bukele, you know, breaking out, just ripping his shirt, taking out the Superman costume and saying, we're going to make Bitcoin legal tender. But what is important, right, is that, again, the more people get their hands on Bitcoin, Nolan was talking about it from a American-centric view, which we do on Simply Bitcoin as well. The more people get their hands on Bitcoin, the more people wake up to the left and right divide and conquer strategy that has been so successfully implemented into the minds of the most of the world. What I call fiat politics, really. It's not left versus right. It's not blue versus red. It's green versus orange. It's a party of orange versus a party of green. Either Nolan's been watching our show or we're literally in sync. It could be either or. You know, Bitcoiners all kind of come to the same conclusion. It's a rabbit hole, right? Anyways, so this is extremely bullish. And even if this particular president doesn't, you know, come through on these things, once again, this is an example of the Overton window is shifting towards the public's perception of alternative currencies. You know, if you have Bitcoin and then you have the shit coins, it's up to Bitcoin to really beat these shit coins up in the free market. I think it will because it has the best incentives. Anyways, Colombia is also a massive country, 314 billion people, almost as big as the United States of America, has a massive GDP. So yeah, you know, this is a big deal. It's no longer these, you know, small countries, whether, you know, that's the Central African Republic or El Salvador, which is the beachhead for the Bitcoin movement on the nation state level. Shout out to Nayib Bukele, Max Kaiser, and Stacy, and all the people that made that happen in El Salvador. Now we're talking about bigger countries, right? You have Argentina, of course. You know, the jury is still out on Javier Milei. We'll see what happens. But you know, once again, this is another country. You have Samson Mow, hardcore Bitcoiner, having one-on-one meetings with the president of Colombia, which is, you know, one of the most well-respected and powerful countries in the region, in South America, right? So very rich history. Of course, you know, inflation is a big problem in Colombia. You know, consumer price inflation averaged 4.5% in the 10 years to 2022 in Colombia. Of course, it's been below the average, the Latin American average of 8.4%, but that's still 4.5%, right? That's still a lot. You know, that's still a lot. And that, of course, is government numbers. You know, it's one of those things. Bitcoin truly does fix this. Anyways, in other news, I did want to focus on, shout out to Mags. Does an incredible job. She's a great speaker. Does some great talks at Bitcoin conferences. She's highly knowledgeable about not only geopolitics, but also the mining industry as well. She used to work at CoinKite, if my memory serves me correctly. Anyways, here is where she's finally saying the quiet part out loud, right? Which is, most people don't like central bank digital currencies. It's like they're shoving it down our throats in order for them to maintain the power of being able to create money for free that everyone else has to work for. I think that fundamentally is what central bank digital currencies are about, right? I don't think it has anything to do with making payments more efficient. And the reason I come to that conclusion is because they don't mention inflation when they talk about Bitcoin. They say people are seeking Bitcoin because they want more efficient means of payment, but they never mention, they avoid it like the plague. They never mention the fact that people are seeking Bitcoin because they're trying to save their savings from currency effing debasement, right? They don't want to talk about that, right? I think it's an indefensible position for them, honestly, on a psychological level. How do you convince people that using money that steals from them is good for them? And I think Nolan touched upon that, during his presentation during the culture segment. Anyways, here's Mags, here's the thread, and she says, today the Bank of Canada dropped a report from its CBDC consultations. The findings, Canadians do not want central bank digital currencies. 9 out of 10 Canadians don't trust the Bank of Canada to issue a secure CBDC. There's not a lot of trust in government, tech companies, or government in general. Privacy is the most sought after design feature in a CBDC. And I'll get to that because they know that and they're using that as a way to advertise it. But we all know that if they can't even respect privacy in your communications, what makes you think? This is the same Canadian government that censored, that literally shut off bank accounts because there was a political protest. This is the same government that's like, no, trust us with even more power. We're going to respect your privacy. No, they're not. Respect their privacy when it's convenient to them. But when as soon as it's not convenient to them, I don't think they give a flying F about your privacy, to be honest. It goes on to say, Canadians value the ability to give, refuse, and withdraw consent to use of their personal info and ability to hold anonymous amount of money over being able to recover the funds. Ooh, did you hear that? They value the ability to give, refuse, or withdraw consent to the use of their personal info and ability to hold an anonymous amount of money over being able to recover funds. 1 in 7 Canadian uses and owns Bitcoin or crypto. So this number right here, where it's 9 out of 10, we can make a good assumption that 1 out of those 10 is a Bitcoiner. How do we get these numbers up? These are rookie numbers. Anyways, goes on to say, Canadians just aren't interested in using a CBDC. Further, they want Canada to enact regulations that require merchants to accept cash. Note that the data set for this report is much larger, 90,000 Canadians, than the previous Bank of Canada Bitcoin studies, 2,000 people. So it provides a good picture of what Canadians want. And this is common sense. Like, this is obvious. Like, if you use common sense with the average everyday Joe, do you think, look, and if you live in Canada with developed financial rails, right? What do you need a CBDC for? You don't need one. But if you're a government and you see Bitcoin on the horizon and you're like, holy crap, this might stop us from being able to create money for free that the rest of us have to work for. They're freaking out. So the reaction is a CBDC, but the problem that they have is that they have to convince the public that they need a CBDC. And that's exactly what they're trying to do. Remember what that study said about how what people value most is privacy. I kid you not, this is real, okay? The European Central Bank almost has 1 million followers on Twitter. This post got 54 likes. I don't know who, those are probably bots, to be honest, or other central bankers around the world.
Or people dunking on them.
They probably have a Slack, all the central bankers like, yo, like this tweet, bro. Like this tweet, retweet it, man. And of course, they got ratioed AF, always. And this is the importance of Twitter, guys. Look, make your voices heard. Who holds the encryption keys? But they put an interesting word, guaranteed privacy. Like, who is guaranteeing that? That's bullshit. This is like total gaslighting. Total gaslighting. Look, the gaslighting has gotten so desperate. I kid you not. I kid you not that they're telling us shit like this. This is real. This is not Photoshop. If you search on Google, inflation is your fault, you will find the link to this article. This is real. They are running out of excuses. It's not the supply chains. It's not transitory. Actually, inflation is your fault. If people are so mad about high prices, why do they keep buying so many expensive things? Like, the gaslighting is through the roof. Privacy guaranteed. We care about your privacy. Transactions in digital euro would be encrypted and protected by advanced security measures, making them highly secure. We'd never see or store personal data from digital euro users. I don't believe you. History has shown not to believe you. Anyways, here's Christine Lagarde, Opti's ex-girlfriend, and we've played you this video. We've played you this video as soon as it came out, right? Now, here's the thing, right? Here's the claim. The claim is we care about your privacy. In this video, Christine Lagarde says that the euro is necessary for European unity, that a digital euro would future-proof the currency, and it's so important that we have to launch this. Thank God for the community note feature. It says the EDBP argues that the digital euro faces several hurdles, such as shaky privacy, anonymity safeguards, possibly limiting choice, accelerating cash to placement, and allowing spending tracking. This is information narrative trench warfare. It is not a coincidence that yesterday, as soon as, Jack Dorsey released a tweet referencing the first decentralized Bitcoin mining pool. It's not a coincidence that the day after, the legacy corporate media, which truly, according to Parker Lewis, and I have those suspicions too, right, when he came on Simply Bitcoin IRL, really government media, if we're being frank, right? They're pushing these types of narratives. They're blaming you. You are the cause of inflation. Guaranteed privacy. What are you talking about? But when you actually look at the truth, because we have the truth on our side as Bitcoiners, it tells a very different story. And then it goes on to say the digital euro doesn't offer clear benefits, but has many risks. And that is the question that I want answered, because that's the same argument that Elizabeth Warren used when she was talking about she's like, the reporter, right? She's the CNBC reporter was like, hey, are you ready for the CBDC? Is it time? Is it time? And Elizabeth Warren's like, yeah, we need more efficient payments. Bro, PayPal, Cash App, Zelle, all that shit. It's so easy to use. It is so incredible. Like, it is bam, bing, boom. Have you gone to Apple Pay and you go to a CVS and you go tuk, tuk, tuk with your button, and it gives you a little haptic feedback, and it's like, bing, payment, paid. You didn't even need to take out your fucking wallet or anything. You could just do it off your phone. Like, like, we don't need more efficient payments. The payments are great. What we need is currency that doesn't steal from us. We need currency that protects us from reckless government spending. That's what we need. We don't need more efficient payments. So don't fall for the gaslighting. No, they don't give a flying F about your privacy, but they know that that's what you're worried about. So they're going to tell you they care about your privacy. They're going to tell you that inflation's your fault. And this isn't just the media. Isn't it a coincidence that, the media and what Joe Biden was saying the other day about how he's sick and tired, how Americans believe that inflation is caused by government spending. And then, of course, you have the White House press secretary who is literally saying Thanksgiving has gotten cheaper this year. And you're just like looking at the receipts and you're like, what the fuck is she smoking? So what I'm trying to say is do your own research. Remember Nolan's guide, download it, because it's going to be your guide towards dealing with, NPCs during the holiday, because Nolan is absolutely right. I think a lot of them have been completely brainwashed by this media machine. So yeah, this is crazy. But this is a great awakening. I think by the day, more and more people wake up, and I think we're gonna win this because I think we have better incentives than they do. They require coercion and they require lies. Both those things. They require both those things. Without both those things, no one's gonna want a CBDC. And no one's going to believe their bullshit that they aren't responsible for the inflation, even though they printed a record amount of money, stealing the time from individuals. That's what they're doing. When they print money, it's time theft. They're taking your work, your energy, and your time. And then they don't even want to own up to it because they know that they can't explain that. So what do? They just gaslight you. Anyways, Opti, what's your take on this before we hit the meme review?
Yeah, well, first off, shouts out to Samson Mow because he's been on a world tour, orange pilling countries. And I keep saying this, and maybe I'm a broken record at this point, but I think we are all underestimating how much attention and capital is going to get into Bitcoin when we have institutions and nation state level adoption. Of course, with the number go up, we'll have more and more of just everyday people talking about Bitcoin. It's just going to get crazy. And of course, would love to see Colombia adopt Bitcoin. I fully wasn't even aware of how many citizens are in Colombia. So that is absolutely huge. Say what you want about it being a Central or South American country, third world country and all that stuff. But what was the number? It's 312 million people. That is a significant amount of adoption coming through from Colombia. Of course, El Salvador was the first country to adopt Bitcoin, but it's a relatively tiny country. And this is really going to put Bitcoin on the map. Of course, it's still kind of early and we'll see what happens because, he did say blockchain and cryptocurrencies and stuff. So of course, as Bitcoiners are getting nervous, oh, don't rug pull us. Please do not rug pull us. But I mean, back to the other stuff you talked about, the CBDC stuff. I mean, I've been saying it for a while, and I really believe this is if people have a transparent choice between a controlled central bank control mechanism, a CBDC or central bank digital currency, or freedom, which is Bitcoin, freedom money. I think the choice is simple, and this is not a theory anymore. We saw what happened in Nigeria when their government tried to roll out a CBDC. No one wanted it, and I don't think people want it. This is not about better digital payments as much as they try to frame it that way. People just want to really hold something that doesn't steal from them. This is about the legitimacy of the fiat system. And I was sitting here yesterday for a minute. I was picking up my friend. He was in town for the night. And I was listening to HODL Hangout, John Ballas and American HODL, Eric Kaysen and Breedlove. And Kaysen said something that it's such a perfect meme. It's in the fiat world, it's all number go down for the rest of time. Society just degrades because of the fiat system. It's always number go down. There will continue to destroy the dollar. They will continue to destroy society just to keep the system going. But on the Bitcoin standard, it is number go up, and it really is an optimistic future. And I just think once you can frame this and tell a more compelling story, as Nolan was telling us, the choice becomes so absolutely obvious to anyone that is paying attention. And it really is, as we say all the time, freedom or slavery. It's Bitcoin or death. It is what's the Orwell, the last thing Orwell ever said was, think of the future of humanity and what it is. It's a boot on the neck of man forever. And then they come out here and, Christine Lagarde tries or every other central bank, the Elizabeth Warrens of the world, they all try to paint a CBDC system as something this is for the good of humanity. You really want this, don't you? And it's it's absolutely terrifying what it really means when you break it down. And I just don't think humans, at least people that have some faith and are still human at this point, we'll leave it to the tinfoil hats out there, whether there's non-humans on planet Earth, which I would kind of agree with. But if you're still a human and you still have a soul, I think the choice is simple. It is Bitcoin over the fiat system, over a new rebranded fiat system, aka CBDC. And the choice is very clear. It is Bitcoin. It will always be Bitcoin. I think if you want to see the future be more prosperous, if you want your children to live a better life, you will choose Bitcoin. Actually, you probably don't really have a choice. I don't think there is a choice. It is Bitcoin. And what's the option? Like, stay a slave forever? That's not a good option, in my opinion. Anyways, the last thing I really want to touch on is that Atlantic headline. Like, that's absolutely ridiculous. Like, I can't even believe. Like, this is worse than what's the Babylon Bee, like the Onion. Like, this is the lowest level of quote unquote journalism ever. This is like absolute horrible yellow journalism. I cannot believe that these respected quote unquote legitimate media companies are coming out with nonsense like this. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's literally a slap in the face of any still thinking human out there. They're like, you're so stupid that we're going to pass this headline off like it's legitimate. Absolutely incredible. And remember, guys, they were saying that inflation was transitory and now they're blaming you for inflation. Like, what is going on? They never once mentioned the trillions upon trillions of dollars that they printed since 2020. They'll never talk about the fact that they're going to constantly expand the money supply. Like, as someone said in the chat, which is basically like, you're the reason that we're stealing from you. Like, blame yourself because we're stealing from you. And actually, you were kind of trolling, Rave, but I mean, there is some signal in there. Like, it is our fault because we allow these people to continue to print, to continue to gaslight us, because we still view they have some sense of legitimacy. And here we are. It just goes to show, with everything going on in the world, what we constantly show on Simply Bitcoin, that the pendulum is swinging the other way and people are hungry for truth. And we're seeing that the flow of information is crumbling. The control that the money managers, that the unproductive class, that the politicians, the central bankers, and their ilk, it is crumbling in real time. The cracks in the system, in the dam, are there's leaking water, and slowly but surely people are waking up. And of course, guys, like, the meme is Bitcoin fixes this, but it does start with the money, and then from the money, a better world will emerge. And this is where we are. We're on the front lines of this. And it's just, I really can't believe that they actually published that headline. And there's probably some nonsensical article, some kind of verbal diarrhea behind it to try to gaslight you into believing that you're the problem because you're buying expensive things. It's like, no, everything is more expensive now. What are you talking about? You printed trillions of dollars. You've expanded the money supply by what, like 40+% since 2020. Like, the reasons are very simple. The more money they print, the more money they have to print, the poorer we get. And no amount of gaslighting can basically convince you otherwise once you understand what the truth is. And this is what Bitcoin is. It's a foundation of truth. It's like, once you touch the pillar of truth, you can't unsee the fiat world. It's, the world becomes clear.
Boom, boom. They don't call him Saint Opti for no reason. All right, everybody. It is Friday. We did promise you some memes. And we've been thinking about
cue the tomatoes, Nico. You're gonna drop this.
We've been thinking a little bit about the memes for a while, and yeah, guys, to make the meme review more special, I think we're gonna do the meme review on
a little less.
I think
just a little less.
We're gonna do the meme review a little bit less.
The show's been going an hour and a half now.
Yeah.
It's getting long.
So we're going to be doing the meme review, maybe not every single day of the week, but we're going to be doing it, we're going to be doing it a little bit less. So maybe Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
Maybe we can end the year normally and moving on next year.
No. Roman says we're not going to cut them. The meme review is always going to be there. We're actually probably going to extend the memes the days that we do the meme reviews. But we've been looking at our numbers and video engagement and all that stuff. So we want to provide the best viewing experience for you guys.
And let's expand on that, because it's really, we want to give as much value as possible to you guys in this hour. And of course, the meme is a cult following, so we're not gonna eliminate it. But we've just been thinking maybe we can give you guys more value. Yeah. See, I told him, cue the tomatoes.
Yeah. So the meme review is always going to be a part of Simply. It's it was our history. It's been there since the very, very beginning. So yes, it's always going to be a part of Simply, but we might be doing it less days. Instead of doing it 5 days a week, we might be doing it 3 days a week. And just we're gonna kind of we'll pivot. We'll be very, very flexible depending on the performance and how you guys receive it and all that. At the end of the day, we want to create the best experience for you guys, and that's essentially what this is all about. We want to provide the we want to provide the best viewing experience for you guys. But no, Rave, the meme review is part of our history. It will always be a part of Simply Bitcoin. We'll be doing it a little bit less.
Oh man, Nico, dude, how are you gonna drop the hammer on me like on such a great episode?
All right, let's hit the meme review. Let's do it.
The Daily Meme Review.
Yeah, look, Elaine gets it. I trade a meme review for Nolan any day. This is the way, guys. It's really about stacking as much value into this hour as possible. And I know you guys love the memes. We love the memes. We understand the power of memetics. Look, we got a whole 30-minute rant from Nolan today about memetics. It's not about downplaying the importance of memetics. It's about just trying to give you guys as much value packed into this hour as possible. And the show's getting extremely long now. We're already an hour and 20. Anyways, you already know the deal. This is the meme review where you tag me in memes at Simply Bitcoin TV or drop them in our Telegram group, t.me/Simply Bitcoin TV. Tweets are the bullets, memes are the artillery. We are in an information war. Continue to ridicule the corporate press, continue to get the calls of action out there, continue to make some funnies, exposing the hypocrisies, and then, of course, keeping your friends' heads in the game. This is the way. All right, guys. First meme is by RD_BTC, our boy RD, and he goes, had to use this template, to be honest. Hashtag Bitcoin, hashtag swimming pool, hashtag FUD. And we got the classic meme template here of, the mom with the new baby born and helping them swim, and then the brothers drowning over here. And so, look, we got Bitcoiners with the Bitcoin logo, and we're having so much fun. And then you have mainstream media, swimming pool, FUD, drowning. And then at the very bottom of the ocean, we have a skeleton, and it's mainstream media, energy FUD. Remember they were saying we're going to boil all the oceans, and now they're saying we're wasting too much water. Like they're not bringing their best. The FUD is just getting absolutely ridiculous. It's not working at all. Anyways, next one is by Mitchell Hoddle. It goes, not today, Satan. And we got the classic picture of Jesus and the devil, Satan doing an arm wrestling, and the devil goes, ha, I will deceive them with cheaper versions. And then Jesus goes, Bitcoin is truth. This is the way. Do not get rug pulled. Do not get psyoped into believing that there is a new and better Bitcoin, that this shitcoin is going to dethrone, or what was it? The flippening is going to flip Bitcoin. No, there's Bitcoin, and then there's shitcoins. This next one is by Stacker News, and there's nothing there, but we got a husband here, and he's what do you call it? Blinded his wife. He's got his hands behind the wife's head, and he goes, baby, remember the money we saved up to buy our dream home? And then he exposes a wall full of ASICs. I saw this one from my boy Joe. He sent it to me, and just TLDR, he pretty much lived this, and he's like, I feel triggered and attacked. Guys, do not spend your family money behind your wife's back on ASICs. You might be in the doghouse for a little bit, all right? Anyways, next one is by Run the Banks, a.k.a. at empty_banks on Twitter, and it goes, it's that time of the year again where I work to get the message out, and here's a picture of stockings at the store at like a Walmart, and they got letters on it, and it's rearranged to say taxation is theft. Absolutely legendary. This is hilarious. I would love to see this. Maybe I'm gonna have to do this. I very rarely get to Walmart, but I might need to do this. All right, and the last one is by the Having Party, aka Having Party MF, and it goes, front running the Bitcoin ETF be like. And we got two people here, and one of them goes, welcome to your new job. we're like a family here. And then there is a handcuffed on it and handcuffed to the desk. And like, what you're in for? Stack cheap sats, MFer, you student loans. Okay. All right. Shouts out to the having party and all the boys over there.
By the way, if you guys want to go to the having party in El Salvador in April, you can use the promo code down in the video description. It'll give you a discount to your tickets to the having party in El Salvador. For those memes, I'm going to give it this new sticker that I got, the Lightning Network Merit
Oh,
badge.
that's cool.
There we go.
Wait, is it a badge or a sticker?
It's a sticker, but I'm not going to use it.
Of course. Of course. All right. Mine is, in honor of Nolan. And also, I didn't realize the significance of the dates of the Bitcoin conference, but shouts out to Nolan. I am going to give it Bitcoin Magazine's the primary issue because Bitcoin is becoming the primary issue.
I love that. Love the way that you framed that, Opti. All right, everybody.
Hey, I learned a thing or two from Nolan today.
All right, everybody. Before we get to reading everyone's scores, I do want to give a shout out to our merch. Guys, if you want to help support the show and help us stay independent and not so sponsorship based, which is how we are, and we love our sponsors and partners for making this show possible. But if you guys want to support the show directly, it really, really helps us. Check out our merch. You can scan the QR code on your screen right now. It will take you directly to the Simply Bitcoin merch shop where you can get yourself a t-shirt or a hoodie. Like I said, it really, really, really helps us. So if you enjoy our content, you really, really like it, you want to represent us, you can get yourself some Simply Bitcoin merch.
No, but it's really about representing the message. It is Simply Bitcoin, not just about us.
Of course, it's representing the message. It's helping us, right? So, and it will help Opti get off the streets finally. So,
it'll help me get off of Christine Lagarde's couch and stop eating ramen.
Oh man! All right. It is Friday, so we're gonna change it up and we're gonna use an air siren. Let's pull up some scores.
Oh, okay.
First one from Toxic Sophie. Simply over. I will get my meme review every day, or I will create Simply Meme Review and take your audience. Woo! And this is exactly why I use the air horn. Philip Russo, I give the memes. First, less meme review is transitory. Then no meme review is my fault. Elaine, meme review becomes something to look forward to. Bitcoiners are long-term preference, right?
Elaine gets it.
A Bitcoin is truth. A Bitcoin Santa rally. Love it.
I know it's pumping, guys. It's pumping right now.
Rave Elevator. I score the memes. The Indian Ocean now available for Bitcoin mining.
We're going to boil all the ocean. Not enough pool water.
Sicko05 meme review score. Santa, bring me Nolan's new book in hardcover. Absolutely love that.
Let's go. Okay, hold on. We got a few on Rumble, I believe. Okay, first one. Don Blee, it's not really a meme score, but he goes, no memes? Why should I watch anymore? Wait, his meme score is actually meme score. More memes. Okay, Narwhal Tacos goes, meme score, me heading out right this second. My trivia team is going to finals in Chicago. Peace out. Okay, all right. UTXO, I give the memes a tear slowly rolling down my cheek as the realization sets in that I will have to search for memes myself from now on. Okay, Idle Threat, meme score, a new intro to the daily meme review. Yes, it'll be the bi-weekly. No, I don't know.
We're gonna have to change that. We're just gonna
the occasional meme review.
We're gonna have to change that. Wait, is it the daily?
The daily meme.
Fuck.
All right, maybe we'll keep it so we don't have to do more work.
All right, we'll figure it out. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Simply Bitcoin Live. If you enjoyed the show, make sure to smash that like button. Consider subscribing if you feel like we provided you value. But the number one thing you could do to help push the peaceful Bitcoin revolution is share this content. In fact, share all Bitcoin content. Don't be exclusive, be inclusive. Help push the peaceful Bitcoin revolution message forward. And the way that you do that is by spreading the signal. Also, special announcement. I do have a giveaway for you guys. If you've made it all the way to the end of the show, we are giving away tickets to the Unconfiscatable Conference in Las Vegas. You can use the promo code simply100. That's right, simply100, and that will give you a free ticket to Unconfiscatable in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Do it now.
The speaker list is absolutely crazy, by the way, I might add. You have Tone Mays, Jimmy Song, Natalie Burnell, Adam Back, Jack Maulers, Giacomo is going to be there. So many awesome Bitcoiners. Of course, Opti and I are going to be holding it down. Rustin's going to be there. It's going to be a big celebration. The tickets are absolutely free. You got to use promo code simply100, and that will give you free tickets to the Unconfiscatable Conference in Las Vegas, Nevada. We hope to see you guys there in the flesh. We'll be there next week. It's going to be awesome, and we'll see you guys. Anyways, guys, have an amazing weekend. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. Enjoy the holidays. I think towards the end of the year, we might take the last week off of December.
Oh, let's go.
Just to give us some breathing room and allow us to spend time with our families.
Wow, we get a break. Amazing.
During Christmas and during the New Year's. And we will be
Simply
back.
Bitcoin's about to party New Year's.
And we'll be back in January. But just letting you guys know, I'll let you guys know with time, as the date gets closer. But anyways, guys, like I said, have an amazing weekend. Enjoy the first day of December, and we will be back Monday for a brand new episode of Simply Bitcoin Live. Peace out, everybody. We love you all.